Good evening. We are going to reconvene the meeting of the Lakota Board of Education from executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, and compensation of a public employee or official. So if you'd all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. If I could have an motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Sorry, call the roll.
Mrs. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Parnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Casper?
Yes.
Mr. Lovell?
Yes. Thank you. We will move on to board president's comments, which I do not have any comments this evening, so we'll move on to Mr. Miller.
Just briefly, we have 30 days until school starts. We are, whoop is right.
I was going to say, that was exciting.
Parental excitement. We aren't ready, but we're close. And so things are coming along, staffing is coming along, buildings are starting to get into opening week shape. So we're close. That's it.
Great. Mrs. Lowe.
I do not have any comments tonight.
Well, fantastic. That means we'll move into our public comment section of the meeting. Just a reminder that the public comments for this first time are capped at 3 minutes, residents only, and it's on any agenda items. I'm assuming that the name that I have here is for the second.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm seeing shaking of the head, yes.
Fantastic. All right. If there's no other public comments, then we'll move on to board reports. We'll start with Butler Tech and Career Development. Ms. O'Connor?
Butler Tech will be meeting tomorrow evening, and we'll be doing the new Swordsville campus. It's almost ready to open. There'll be it'll be coming in September, but the date's still in flux. The grand opening of it, so I'll let the board know when that happens, and we'll be doing a tour tournament before the meeting. That's all we have right now.
Great. Great. Legislative Committee?
The only thing I had on my calendar was a BASA meeting, legislative meeting tomorrow, and that got canceled today. So I think people are waiting for what's going to happen in Columbus, unless you've heard anything or any updates.
I'm going up tomorrow. It's one of the last subcommittee meetings for the school funding task force, state school funding task force that I sit on. And we are now in the phase of developing recommendations. So we will be working through that and may only have one more meeting for that. So we're getting close.
It's good to hear.
Yes.
We're preparing, obviously, for when they kick back up again in the fall, but in the meantime, we're watching what's happening at the national level. National School Board Association sent out an advocacy update just to let us know where the budget was standing on several different issues, including IDEA, which is the Individuals with Disabilities Act, ESSA, which is Every Student Succeeds Act, Impact Aid, and the House Appropriations Committee is going back and forth with the Senate Committee, and I'm going to ask Jenny if she'll post that on the board docs for us and the legislative updates so you all can see what they're looking at in terms of funding. It does look like it'll stay pretty flat based on where they end up resolving the differences between the two houses and the president.
Right. Do you have any updates for Diversity Committee?
The only thing I'd like to mention is three of our ladies that work in Lodi have been meeting with Miami University as a diversity outreach, and so they're trying to mirror and partner and network with what Miami has done. So I just wanted to mention that. Good stuff.
Great. Thank you. We'll move on next to Treasurer's recommendations. The first action there is the approval of the board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Casper?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Parnell?
Yes.
Mr. Lovell?
Yes. The second item there is to approve the June 2018 financial reports. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. So.
I had a question, Jenny.
Sure.
The invoice that was attached,
Yes,
that's unusual.
very unusual. So, under C, for invoices, approval to be paid, so by board policy, if we have an invoice or a service that has actually taken place before the date of a purchase order, and it's more than $3,000, I have to ask the Board of Education approval to pay that invoice. So our graduations happen in May. We got the invoice now and noticed that there was not a purchase order to cover both graduations. Those, by board policy, I need to bring that to you to request approval to pay. So that's what happened there.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Parnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Casper?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Lovell?
Yes. The third item for approval is invoices to be paid. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion?
We just had a discussion on that. You
Oh,
can
is that
do
the
all
one
three
that
at
you
the
were
same
saying?
time.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, roll call.
Mrs. Casper?
Yes.
Mr. Parnell?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor? And Mr. Lovell?
Yes. Okay, moving on to superintendent's recommendations. Mr. Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Lovell. Under item A, I have one minor change on the administrative salary ranges. Please eliminate near the bottom, the third sentence about the monthly mileage stipends. We'll take that to policy committee. Everything else should be good to go.
Did you talk about, we need a motion first? I'll make a motion.
Fantastic.
Second.
Roll call? No, that's me or you?
Discussion, you have discussion?
Oh, discussion, yes.
Could you talk about the preschool contract, please?
Sure.
Yeah. Is that higher than we expected? What are you thinking about?
The preschool contract came in about where we thought it would come in. We're doing some reorganization in our special ed and student services department. So I anticipate that we'll look at that, not anticipate, we'll look at that contract pretty heavy this year. But it is only a one-year contract. And since we've had more involvement in it, from what I've heard before I came here, things are getting better. So I'm pleased right now with what's outlined in the contract, and it's something that we'll look at for next year.
And are you seeing any changes in services, or has parent feedback been positive?
I have not heard anything negative. So it's been pretty positive.
Thank you.
Sure.
Great. Roll call, please.
Mrs. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mrs. Casper?
Yes.
Mr. Parnell?
Yes.
Mr. Lovell?
Yes. We'll move on to our public comment section, our second public comment section, and I have one person that is signed in. Just a reminder that this portion of our comment section, or public comment section, can be over any item. It's limited to 3 minutes. There'll be a timer right up here on the screen. We ask that you keep it to 3 minutes. In addition, it's those that live in the district. So Candy Wilkerson, you can step right up to the podium here, ma'am. Thank you.
My question concerns guns in the school. There's been a lot in the press lately
Oh,
about.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Could you please state your name and address?
Candy Wilkerson, 8057 Hunters Ridge Drive, Westchester.
Thank you so much.
What I'm curious about is, I've heard a lot about, especially in Butler County, the sheriff wanting to arm teachers in the school, and I want to know what you as a board have done and how you all feel about arming teachers in the schools.
Okay.
So I guess that's my question, is have you all addressed that as a board? Where Lakota stands on that?
We'll address the comments at the end after everybody speaks. Thank you. Are there anybody else who'd like to speak? Hello.
This is Jennifer Richardson, and I'm at 7660 Tyler Drive. I'm here today to speak out against arming teachers at schools. America's teachers, school safety experts, and law enforcement oppose arming teachers. Both the National Education Association and the American Federation of Teachers, the two largest teacher organizations in the country, oppose allowing guns in schools. The National PTA, the American Medical Association, and the Major City Chiefs Association have all gone on record opposing arming teachers. According to the national guide published by the federal government's chief legal, law enforcement, public health, education, and emergency management agencies, allowing civilians to carry guns in schools is not a sound security practice. There is no evidence that arming teachers will make schools safer. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other?
Hi, my name is Lynn Martin, 6840 Woodland View Drive. I'm coming to you not only as a parent. I have 3 sons in the district at Woodland and Wyandotte, and one who's not school age yet, but I'm also coming to you as a teacher. I'm not a teacher in your district, but I teach out in Ross. That means I've been through the Alice training. I have been shot at with pellet guns. I had to watch videos of reenactments of Columbine, and I want to speak out against arming teachers as well. I know in a lot of times when people come up to talk, they are welled up with emotion for their children out of the fear, and I get it. I have those kids and my 26 other ones that are my kids 10 months out of the year. But 2 of the major things I learned in my training, and these came from the officers and their resource officer themselves. One is, when good guys have the guns, they don't know who to target. So they come in there and they are looking for somebody with a gun. And if the good guys have guns, that puts the teachers in your district at risk, but it also makes them might delay in actually getting the shooter, because they might go, well, this is a district that arms teachers, what if that's a teacher? And that might give the shooter a chance to get another student, to get away, or to get the police themselves. Another thing they brought up was that as wonderful as they are and as trained as they are, that their accuracy rate on average is 20%. A teacher who is, trained, hopefully will be trained if they are going to be carrying the thing, aren't going to be training as much as police. At least I would hope they aren't, because I'm hoping they're at home differentiating instruction and less complaining for my children. But that means their accuracy rate is not going to be 20%. It's going to be 10 or 5. So where are those other 95% going? And the answer, I hope, is never going to be my child. But if it is, who's going to be held accountable for it? Is it going to be the teacher who shot them, the district that allowed that teacher to carry that gun into the classroom? And I know this is a very heated debate on all ends. And honestly, I don't think that this problem is going to be solved at a district level. I do think at some point our country is going to have to put away its differences and stand together to solve this problem as a country. But right now it falls on your shoulders. And that's unfair to you, but I have all the sympathy and respect for you in the world for you guys having to discuss and come up with solutions for security for our students and our kids. But that is on your shoulders right now, and what I'm asking for you is to understand that the risks involved in Army teachers far outweigh the benefits, and that in theory the idea of having guns is a good one, but in reality it isn't. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that'd like to speak? Well, thank you. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate you taking the time to come speak to us. I know we've mentioned multiple times, and any other board member or Matt or Ms. Logan can speak up as well. the school safety and the safety of our students and staff is paramount. It's a multifaceted approach. We look at a lot of different things. We have many discussions. We have a safety team that is meeting regularly, both with folks inside our system, so Westchester, Liberty Township, but also countywide as well. Mr. Miller, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I concur with what you're saying. We have another meeting coming up to talk about safety in the next couple of weeks. I'll also let you know that, as Mr. Level mentioned, and this probably won't be a surprise to many of you, but the safety and security is something that we work on all the time. For example, I'm not even sure the board's aware, we're going through a countywide threat assessment on our buildings right now. We did that today, and we're doing that again tomorrow. So we're working on things like that. I know that doesn't specifically address your issue about arming staff, but that's not a decision, quite frankly, that the board has made at this time.
I think it's ongoing discussion. As we've talked about, it's not one piece of security, it's many layers of security. And we're in process of gathering our information and our research on that to determine what we need to do for Lakota. We have another meeting this week with the School Safety Summit, which was initiated by Westchester Fire Chief Rick Prince, and we'll be participating in that. We continue to gather input and work with our first responders. So you may not hear about it here because that's another layer of security for our staff and for our students to not share those details publicly.
And the other thing I'll say too is we all know there are no easy answers to this. There's not one answer to this. And so we're trying to do that multi-layered approach.
All right, we will move to our closing comments. We'll start.
Wow.
That's what we think about your
I was gonna
comments,
say,
Casper. I don't know.
My closing comment? I don't really have anything. I actually do want to say that I would like us to continue to keep Matt Stratton's family in our prayers for what they're going through. It was a tough memorial service. So, but that's really all I have.
It's really.
I did want to say I had the opportunity to judge the cardboard regatta at Metro Parks on Saturday, and we had the Lakota robotics team had built the dragon that was shooting water at all the boats trying to sink them. So it was fun to watch our kids and their creativity, and they did a great job representing Lakota that day.
That's a fun event.
It was much funner to be on the dais watching than it was to have been in the water, I think. They were fun.
Great. Well, I have no comments, and so we will move to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Roll call. See, I'm just getting good. I'm just fast.
Mrs. O'Connor,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Mr. Parnell, Mr. Level.
Yes. Thank you for coming out tonight.